Welcome to the Somos Sunnyside podcast, brought to you by the Communications Department of the Sunnyside Unified School District. Thank you for tuning in while we share stories about the bright side of education.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. That's right, we are Sunnyside. So we are here at Desert View High School, coming to you live from the Drama and Stagecraft classroom. And we're here with two special guests. We got the instructor here, Mr. Dustin Bielich, and we have a sophomore student, Rexx Gallardo. How are you guys?
Doing well.
I'm doing good.
Doing good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So everybody's, the last couple episodes we've been celebrating Career and Technical Education Month. We offer so many amazing CTE classes in partnership with Pima County JTED. And so, for us, it's all about the student experience. It's making sure that, our students fulfill that experience that they want to fulfill as they, set off on their journeys, as they set off to post-secondary, whatever that is for them. And so today, as I mentioned earlier, we're talking a little bit about drama. We're talking a little bit about stagecraft. And I realize that your stagecraft course is a career and technical education course, but before we get into that, I want the audience out there, the listeners out there, to learn a little bit about you both. So let's start off with Mr. Bielich here, and tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about a little bit of your background, your education background, a little bit of maybe your work experience, and how did you become a Jaguar? How did you get here to Desert View High School?
Yeah, sure. I'm originally from Oklahoma. Both my parents were in kind of entertainment industry fields. My mother's a choir teacher back in Oklahoma, and my father works movies and stunts as well as high school education. And so I've always kind of had a passion for the entertainment business. Mm-hmm. I got my undergraduate degree in theater, tech, and design at Oklahoma City University. Came straight from undergrad.
Brick City, right? Don't they? I've been there once. They refer to it.
Oh yeah, Bricktown.
Bricktown. There
Bricktown.
it is. Bricktown.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, it's all good.
I was thinking of Toby Keith. Country singer Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Bricktown.
Should have been a cowboy.
Yeah.
His restaurant's really good down there.
I've been there.
Fantastic. So yeah, from undergrad came straight here to the U of A for graduate school in the same course. And then I got my first job straight out of grad school with a different school. I was their scene shop foreman. So my duties there were to basically educate kids how to work the power tools, how to paint, and I'll do it all safely. And so I was there for about 3 years before I was informed of the opening here at Desert View. I had been working to get my CTE teaching certification on the side while I was at this other school, and everything kind of just aligned, and now I'm here. This is my first year at Desert View, and really first year as a teacher, so it's
awesome.
Exciting.
So is it been a good experience? I mean, you're coming back next year, right?
Oh yeah, I plan
all right,
to.
good.
Just
wanted to make sure we're taking care of you, and the experience has been as good for you as it's been for the students, because I do hear students rave about taking this course, taking this program, and I love attending student performances. I think it's so important that people realize how much work goes into these student performances, right? And so speaking of students, we want to talk a little bit here with Mr. Rexx Gallardo, sophomore student. So Rexx, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you went to Lawford Middle School, and you're in your sophomore here at Desert View High School, and so tell us about why you picked this class, why you chose this class, and what has your experience been like? Because it sounds like it's an awesome class to take.
Back at Lawford, I was in the drama club there. That's where I really got my love for performance and tech. I'm an actor first here at DV. I just adore being on stage. If I had a purpose in life, it'd be to perform and entertain. I feel like Bielich and our director really help fulfill that. I am our assistant director as well for our current performance. I do a bit of everything for the performance. I am an actor, I'm our dance captain, assistant director. I also help with props and painting and stuff. So I guess I'm just a jack of all trades.
There you go. It's always good to learn a little bit about everything, right? And what goes into a performance. As we're sitting in here in your classroom, I see a bunch of props everywhere. I see paint, I see tools, I see, tell us a little bit about, your experience or and either both of you jump in, what it takes to put on a performance, right? Because I know it takes a team effort. It's just not one person that can put this on together. I mean, there's so many aspects of it. So talk a little bit about that for us.
So I think kind of what you were saying about earlier, like part of this program is learning a little bit of everything that goes into, putting on a production. In our beginning course, we hit a little bit of carpentry, a little bit of painting, introduction to lights, sound, props. And so while we do individual projects for each area, we're also actively working on the shows and whatever they need. So right now we have a couple of set pieces being built in the classroom and painted. In some of our other areas, we have other set pieces going on. And, this classroom works as a nice little studio to, showcase and experiment with lights and sound before moving into the auditorium.
I have a lot of fun in this class, especially with the amount of diverse things that we do here. Yeah, it takes a lot of dedication to be in this program, but the dedication really pays off. Apologies. But yeah, if you're in theater, you kind of just work as a whole team with not just your crewmates, but as well with the cast, the assistant director. So yeah, y'all become your own kind of leaders in a way. With me being assistant director, I do take a lot of leadership responsibility, but I also can delegate that to others.
It sounds like it comes with a lot of responsibility,
Yeah.
right? So when you're assistant director, you're kind of managing the whole thing, along with the director, and so everybody has roles, everybody has responsibilities in order to have an outstanding performance. And so you talked a little bit about you started with you got your passion for drama at Lawfer, it sounded like, and it's continuing here. You're a sophomore. You have 2 years before you graduate. What are your goals in high school? What do you hope to accomplish here in high school? And then we'll get to the question of what you hope to accomplish beyond high school. But what are your goals? Being in this program, being in this pathway, because I do want our listeners to understand that. As you attend our high schools, whether it be our comprehensive high school, Sunnyside or Desert View, we have a lot of options. We have college and career academies. We have different pathways in terms of, what our college and career academies are. This one's obviously visual and performing arts, right? And there's different classes that you can take under visual and performing arts. But we have many, many more. And so you chose to be in the Visual and Performing Arts Academy. And so, again, my question is, what are your goals here in high school?
Here at DV for Stagecraft, I really want to hone in on putting myself out there a lot more. At Lawfer, I was outgoing, but I wasn't necessarily loud. I really do want to put myself out there because one, it could help with a lot of jobs and stuff, and because I want to make connections to others. I do want to build a community. So just putting myself out there with theater can really help with that. So yeah, my goal in conclusion is just meet new people, put myself out there,
And just have some awesome performances, right?
Yeah.
All right, so back to Mr. Bielich here. For those parents that are interested and those students that are interested in coming to Desert View to take either stagecraft or join the drama, courses, what would you say to them? How what classes do you guys offer? What are the benefits from the classes? Is there industry certifications they can earn? Because nowadays there's a lot of opportunities to earn industry certificates from being in different programs, career and technical education programs. We have a lot of dual enrollment, in our high schools. So, what's the message to them?
Yeah. So I think one of the beautiful things about this program, and something some people might get stuck on, is the title of Drama and Stagecraft. But really what we're teaching and showing is anything that does deal with live entertainment. So, maybe theater is not ultimately your thing or what you're interested in, but if you are interested in, working cruise lines, working at amusement parks, weddings, events, sporting events are getting a lot more theatrical. Anything that needs lights or sounds is an area or avenue that we're kind of helping, guide your way and push you towards. As far as certifications go, we offer the OSHA General Industry certification. It's a nice 10-hour course. It states that I am certified in how to be as safe as possible on any industry job site. So it's a good, just baseline general certification to have. Employers like their employees to be as safe as possible. We also try and push that. We work with a lot of power tools, electrics, and other stuff. So safety is, at a forefront for us.
Well, it's safety is always super important, but it's also the skill sets. What are these learning skill sets that students are learning in taking a course like Stagecraft, and they can probably go out, and do many, many things with those skills, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that is something that's often not talked about. Earlier you were talking about kind of entertainment, sports, and just entertainment in general, all the behind the scenes work that happens that I think the viewer takes for granted, right?
Yeah.
Like we just show up to an event and we expect the music, we expect the lights, we expect the sound. And so talk a little bit about that. Either one of you jump in, because I think people sometimes don't recognize that is all set up. That is designed intentionally for those specific events. I mean, we show up and, you jump in an elevator, there's music. You go to a sporting event, there's entertainment on the big screens, and there's sound that follows it, and it's all to get reactions from people, right? And so talk a little bit about that, because I think the regular viewer just takes it for granted. I mean, is that correct to say?
Yeah, a lot of people don't really think about the thought that goes behind a lot of stuff, not just in theater, but at places that, like supermarkets or like malls, for example. Music is definitely something that can set the environment, set the tone, and that's what makes it enjoyable. That's what makes you want to come back again. Everything is intentional in theater, and I feel that could apply to a lot of other events as well. As Mr. Bielich said, like amusement parks, sporting events, all the stuff there is intentional, whether it be for advertising, for atmosphere. It can go a long way, even if you just put a simple little royalty-free backing track in the background. That can really set the tone for what you want that event or what you want to advertise to be. So, yeah.
We, depending on the show, the designing phase will be months out before, we start actually putting stuff together and building. As you progress through this program, going from the beginner to the intermediate, on the Stagecraft side, you'll start getting more of an understanding of, the design process, what goes into reading a script, making the proper paperwork and designing, making a mood board, and then getting into the building phase of everything. But the first year or so is establishing, processes and just how to operate things.
Awesome. All right, that's a lot of information. That's a lot of work, right? Goes into producing these great shows. And so, we want to hear more, but we're going to go to a quick break and we'll be right back.
You will love SUSD. Don't believe us? Just watch. In Sunnyside Unified School District, students dream big, learn boldly, and grow confidently. From hands-on STEM and arts programs to student athletes earning athletic scholarships, Sunnyside District gives every student a place to shine. Enrollment for the 26-27 school year is now available. Enroll today at susd12.org.
All right, we are back. And we have heard, a lot of great information for our listeners out there. I know that there's a lot of middle school students that are interested in drama. They may not know so much about stagecraft and some of those pieces. And I want to make sure that, our parents and our students are well informed as they're making their decisions on where they want to be at high school. And so, you know, I know you guys do these big productions, you do these big shows, you know, and from what I'm aware of is you have a fall play, and then there's going to be a spring musical. So tell us a little bit about those shows, but also, like, you know, again, behind the scenes stuff, how long does it take to you know, organize, you know, those types of shows? Because I'm sure there's a lot of work that goes into it. But first tell us about the shows that the fall play that you had, and the spring musical that's coming up.
Sure. The fall play was our production of The Great Gatsby. We started working on it pretty much as soon as like the school year started. We began planning and casting and getting the process started. So from, you know, August to, we had our performances in mid-late November. So during that time was the rehearsals / build, and then the performances. Now, these productions are, as far as like the acting side and some of the tech is concerned, these are like after school programs with some of the in-class builds and painting and other stuff happening during the day. So even if you're not necessarily part of the play or the musical, you'll still be working towards contributing to either, you know, the sets or the costumes or the props or some aspect to it. And then our current spring musical, we started before, we started casting December before the winter break. And then we've been in rehearsals this entire semester. It is Alice in Wonderland, and I guess I'll hand it off to Rexx for more information.
All right.
Yeah. I've seen firsthand the mood boards that Bielich just had, and they're very in-depth. It's clear that they put a lot of time into crafting the world that we want to portray with the script that we have. And so far, the production's going on pretty well. The props, I really like them. I feel like if any listeners out there are going to come to the musical, you will not be disappointed with our painters and our carpentry crew's work. Rehearsals can be grueling sometimes, but they are so worth it when you're out there on stage and having that applause. It's all worthwhile in the end. And yeah, I've met a lot of amazing people through theater, especially rehearsals. You meet a lot of people that you don't typically see in your age group and your grade. So it's good to have those connections.
So do we have a date when this is going to be launched, this Alice in Wonderland?
So we'll be hosting performances on 2 weekends. It will be April 9th through the 12th, and then April 16th through the 19th. So the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday shows will begin at 6 p.m., and then we have 2 Sunday matinees that both start at 2 p.m.
Awesome. So you guys are going to make sure to advertise that as a district. We'll help you advertise that. I'm sure people would love to show up to see that performance. It sounds exciting. So Rexx, what is your role? What is your role in this spring musical that's coming up, Alice in Wonderland?
So acting-wise, I am a lead role. I am the Mad Hatter. I have like, I guess, a trio number that's 3 parts with some friends as the Dormouse and the March Hare. And for the more technical side, I am our assistant director, I am our general marketing lead, and I am dance captain. So I do a lot for this production.
You got your hands full, man. Right?
Yeah.
That's just theater.
That's awesome. So, you know, I'm sure it gets pretty competitive, right? Because they have to audition for these roles. And so, you know, I think that the great thing is that you mentioned, Mr. Bielich, that there is a role for everyone as well, right? You know, in terms of if they don't get a certain role, there's other opportunities for them to contribute to the performances. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Our auditions have been open to anybody in the school, and, you know, you might not get, you know, the part you initially intended for, but we're always open to, you know, making sure that whoever, you know, can be in the show will be in the show, whether that's on the acting side, whether that's on the technical side of things. We try to be as inclusive as possible because we want this program to grow. And, you know, and to my understanding, it's had, you know, a couple couple of rough years, but we're trying to get things back on track and have.
It's on the rise, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's all about providing students opportunities, and this is exactly what they want. They want to be in these fall plays. They want to be in spring musicals. They want the chance to be on stage and perform, and for their friends and families to come see them, right? Because as Rexx mentioned earlier, I love the remark on his face about, you know, it's all worth it. It feels so good when you get the applause, when you get to bow to the crowd and say thank you, because you know how much work went into it, right? And so these are amazing opportunities, and I know, Mr. Bielich, you're going to do an amazing job of providing these opportunities for students and keep building this program and get it on that trajectory where, you know, there's more and more performances, you know, and we realize that it takes a lot of time, you know, it takes several months to organize a performance like this. So, you know, back to Rexx, what is your message for those students that may be interested in stagecraft or drama, may be interested in coming to Desert View? What would you tell them? What's you know, you talked a little bit about your experience, but, you know, what would you tell that student?
To any incoming students coming to DV, join theater. Like, even if it's just for like the fall play or the spring musical, just try it. You know, you don't even have to be in the class to audition or like be in tech. You can kind of just come in and ask Bielich what to do, you know. So just test the waters, do that little leap of faith, and, you know, if you like it, you'll really like it. If you don't, there are plenty of other CTE programs out there that I'm pretty sure you've already interviewed and such, but I highly recommend theater.
Yeah.
So,
well, it sounds like fun. It sounds like there is a true sense of collaboration in this class. You know, I mean, obviously, you got to get all students, you know, working in the right direction to put something like this together. And it sounds like there's a role for everyone, right? Whether you're actually in the show or if you're working behind the scenes, you know, every role is important. You know, it's kind of like the saying we have in our organization. Everybody in the organization is important, right? In terms of, and everybody has the opportunity to make a difference in the show. Any last thoughts, you know, as we close here? Any last thoughts? Any messages for our students out there? Do you want to give a shout out to any, you know, staff members out there, students, or just the community in general?
shout out to the band. They're really good. I'm a part of the band. They're really good. Like, I don't know if the audio can pick it up, but they're playing outside right now. Stellar. I could have been there right now, but
I'm hearing the drum line. They're getting ready for that parade, right?
yeah, that's my go, Kiana, out there. Bass 2.
Mr. Bielich, any last words?
You know, I'd say just shout out to Desert View for welcoming me and bringing me in. Real excited for where this program can go. And, you know, yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of big things.
So to our listeners out there, you know, there is something for every student in our Sunnyside schools. And, you know, I'm a believer, and I've said this often, that there's something that brings kids to school every day, right? It's their passions. And so, you know, students got to figure out what their passions are, and we're here to help. And so we open our doors to students. We open our doors to parents to come give us a look. Come walk our hallways, come visit our classrooms, come visit our programs, and learn a little bit more of what we offer. And so, you know, we want them to take advantage of this full experience. And you know, there's some great, you know, academic courses here, core content courses, but there's also the career and technical education side of school as well. And so every student should have the choice to experience that. And so, you know, we're proud of the work you guys are doing here. I can't wait to see the show in the spring musical, Alice in Wonderland, and that will be in April. So be on the lookout for that. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this show of Somos Sunnyside. Hasta la próxima. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it entertaining. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and share our podcast with la comunidad. For updates on future episodes and more, be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website at susd12.org. We appreciate your support and can't wait to have you back for the next episode. Hasta la próxima vez en Somos Sunnyside.